Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel and welcome back to another video. So today's video is probably one of my favorite videos. It's a Q&A. I put out a call on the community tab and asked you guys if you had any questions, and you all came through. There are a ton of questions here. I am going to put another one out on Instagram. I always forget Instagram to ask them for questions. So I'm going to do that, and hopefully we will get some good questions. So if you're new around here, hey you guys, how y'all doing? My name's Shakema. I'm a single mom. I have 4 kids. That's right. 2 girls, 2 boys, 1 fur dog named Gracie, and we have 1 fur grand dog named Acro. We're just living our very best life over here. There are a lot of new subscribers to our channel. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, hanging out with us, and a little bit of our crazy. We are just so honored that you would take a few minutes and come and hang out with us. So I don't want to prolong this video, but I do want to jump in and answer some of the questions. So I have the questions over here on my computer pulled up. So if I happen to be looking down, I'm just looking at the questions. So first question is, how much weight have you lost and are you still losing? So if you don't know, I've been doing the ketogenic lifestyle or living the ketogenic lifestyle since September of 2018. So let's see, 12 months, October, November, December, 15 months. And this has always been my thing. I am a turtle when it comes to losing weight. I don't know how these people are doing it where they are losing 70 pounds. You know, somebody can lose 30 pounds in a month. I do not understand. I started out my keto journey at 207 pounds. I am currently 195. So I have only lost 12 pounds in the 15 months I've been doing keto. 194 is the lowest I've ever been. Now, I will make this statement. I am lazy keto. I do not track my macros, which is problem number 1. But I do, and I probably am more dirty keto because that's what I can afford in my budget. I do try to be as clean ingredients as I can. And one of my goals for 2020 is to have as the cleanest ingredients that I can. I probably would do a whole lot better if I took dairy out. But we like dairy at our house, so we leave it in. But I do have goals. So even with the fact that I've only lost about 12 pounds, last year I had a few things happen. So for my new people, my mom, and her name was Beauty. In March, I got a call from my aunt real early one morning, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They had rushed her over to the emergency room. She had fallen down. They had to, break into her. The EMTs had to break into her house to get her out of the house. Took her over to the hospital. They found a brain tumor on her brain. She had had lung cancer for 3 years prior to that, and she had just never stopped smoking. So that cancer had metastasized, and it had spread to her brain. It had spread to her arm. It had spread to her leg, which is how they found the other cancer when her femur broke, because she broke her femur. They think she had been laying on the ground for several hours, but we feel like that the brain tumor was limiting her mobility. She just wasn't. Now we had been with her in November, for Thanksgiving. She had hosted the very first Thanksgiving at her house that she'd ever hosted. My daughter and I went there to be with her and help her do all of her things. My little kids went to their family because they didn't live very far. My ex-husband's family didn't live very far from where we were. So we met up and they got the kids. We stayed with my mom. She was up, moving around, doing all the things. She was in her right mind. And in March, this is what happened. So what ended up happening is I would be between my home and her home, which was my home and the hospital, which is about 2.5 hours apart every weekend until they moved her into rehab. So she was in the hospital. She was in the PICU for about a month. They did the surgery on her brain to remove the tumor. My son, at the same time, actually had his femur bone fixed because, not his femur bone. He broke his ankle. I'm sorry, not the femur bone, his ankle. He broke his ankle in a fluke accident. And so they were both having, let me see. No. I was with my mom for the brain surgery, but they were fixing her femur bone and his broken ankle on the same day. So my aunt was with my mom for the femur surgery, and I was with my son for his ankle surgery, and they were having those on the same day. So that was in March-ish, April. Then we had her moved into rehab until May because I was going to be out for the summer in June. And so we moved her into our house, May the 7th of 2019. So from May the 7th until August, I'd say roughly around August 30th, 31st, somewhere in there, she was with us. And then because I needed to go back to work, and she was at this point no longer able to, really do much for herself. She was in hospice care. She wasn't able to do much for herself. I needed her to go into a facility because I had to work, and it was too much for the children with the amount of care she needed. She was on lots of medication throughout the day, and my kids were troopers. They helped me out. I stayed keto the whole time. I cooked keto for her, and she was doing very well. But all of that to say that I had to stop going to the gym last year because I couldn't get the kids to Taekwondo and then go to the gym and then leave. I couldn't leave her here for that amount of time. So what I ended up doing was I would flip-flop the kids. I'd take one to Taekwondo and then one would go the next day so that somebody was always here with her. And so I was unable to keep going to the gym. I have since January the 6th went back to the gym, and the only reason I waited until the 6th was because that was the first day we went back to Taekwondo, and my gym is about 5-minute drive from where I dropped the kids off. So I dropped the kids off at Taekwondo, and I am back in the gym. With that being said, I have great expectation that, and I go to Planet Fitness, and the trainer is free. So I work with a trainer. Today is a Friday, and I actually did my own program, but I did like a circuit. I did 2 different things in about 10-minute increments of each thing. So I went and did my own workout today, but 3 days a week I work out with a trainer, and I'm doing 2 Taekwondo classes per week. So I have amped up my workout game. I'm also amping up my water. I have lost more inches than I've lost pounds. So I can tell inches have been lost, whereas maybe not a lot of weight. My highest weight, not since I started keto. When I started keto, I was 207. So keep that in mind. But my highest weight ever, I was 250 pounds. I'm now 195. So I'm slow to lose weight. But now that I'm back into the gym and I'm increasing my water, I've found some digestive aids that will help me. I am very consistently in a 14, 16. I am happy at a 14. I would be happy at a 12. I'm happy at the size I am now. I just want to be healthy and well. But I do plan to continue to remain on my ketogenic lifestyle. So I will be tracking through 2020, definitely my body shape. I didn't do any measurements ahead of time. And just the numbers. I'm not always looking at the numbers because I can tell that I have lost a lot of weight. I can wear larges. I can even wear mediums shirts, where before I was wearing 2X large. So I haven't worn an X in front of a letter in quite a long time, in a year. So I'm losing more inches than I am weight. My neck is thin. I can actually see a definition in my face, and I eat keto all the time. But in 2020, I am purposing to increase my veggies, to go as clean keto as my budget will allow. And I have to take my budget into consideration and continue to do my workouts. So that is the keto update. One of the questions is, are you doing a women's conference in the future? I am actually hosting my first ladies retreat in February. It'll be February 28th, 29th, and March the 1st. And it will be in Wilmington, North Carolina. I don't live in Wilmington, but that is pretty close to where I live. And it's not a hard drive for me to be able to do it there. There is a major airport there, and it's going to be, it's not going to be conference C. There's no registration to attend. I will, as soon as I'm trying to lock in my hotel situation. So as soon as I get the hotel situation set, then I will post it out on social media. The only thing I'm asking people that want to come to the retreat to do is to book your own accommodations, because I don't want to get a room block in case people change their minds or can't travel, whatever. So I will be, speaking. I have another friend named Miss Molly from Joy of a Child who will be speaking. I have a friend that is being ordained with me. I'm being ordained into the ministry tomorrow, actually. So the girl that is getting ordained with me, her name is Lisa. She will be speaking. I'm thinking about asking my pastor to speak, but it is a ladies' conference and he is not a lady. So I am thinking very seriously about having him to come in and give us a word as well. So Friday night will be an all meet and greet, and we'll do some ladies things. I have another lady, her name is Miss Cindy, who is going to come in. Cindy and Carrie, they're a mother-daughter duo. They're going to come in and do some ladies activities. And then all day Saturday will be different teachings and fellowship. I have a friend named Mandy that's going to come in and do some worship for us. And I have another friend named Shantae that I'm asking to do worship. And everybody is donating their time. Everybody's volunteering. Nobody's getting paid. I'm not paying anybody to do anything. I'm paying for my own hotel room because I will be staying on site. And it's just going to be a weekend to experience God. And so that is the theme of the retreat, is experiencing God in a real and true way, like really becoming into fellowship with the Lord. There'll be prayer, there'll be ministry, there'll be worship. And then on Sunday, we will finish out the retreat having a church together. So that is what I'm planning. It's very low key. It's not going to be grandiose, because that is not at this point for the first conference. I do believe that God has conferences for me down the line, but for this first time, it's just going to be an intimate retreat of the most of the ladies will be coming from the call line that join us on Monday nights. If you're new, I do a ladies Bible study on Monday nights. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are changing the time. It used to be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. We are now doing 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. We meet every single Monday night on the call line, and that information is always down in the description box below. So most of those ladies will be coming if they are able. It is whomever will. That's how we like to live our best life, and we're gonna go for it. So yes, ma'am, we will be. The next question, where do I see myself in 10 years? And what do I hope to accomplish by then? So I was planning to have a book written by now. The book has not been written. But in 10 years from now, I will be retired from my job. And I will have a little bit of extra time on my hands. I will have all of my children will be graduated from school and out of the house. Jackson has 6 more school years to go, and he will be done. Alana has 2 more school years, and she will be done. My older children already live out of the house. I do pray that the Lord has marriage for me. That is a prayer request that I keep before the Lord. I don't keep it. I don't bother him about it, but that is something in my heart. That's a desire of my heart. To be married and in ministry together. I know very specifically that God said to me, my husband would be in ministry doing his own thing, and I would be in ministry doing my own thing. And at some point we would meet each other and we would do ministry together. So in 10 years, I'll be retired and prayerfully doing full-time travel ministry, women's travel ministry. That is so on my heart to do, and to go out and to share God's love and to share all the things that God has done in my life. I know a lot of people can parallel and not think they're good enough, or because that's how I felt You know, how can God use me? And God used me, and he uses me. And so I just want to share that encouragement with people. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you've been through. And I do hope to have my book written by then, 1 or 2. I'm working on a cookbook as well. It's nothing fancy. It's just down home, Southern, and it's going to be in compilation with a lot of the funny things that my kids do. So I'm doing a compilation of funny kids stuff, plus some recipes that all go with it that make our house a home. So that's where I prayed that I'm in full-time ministry in 10 years, travel ministry, women's ministry. That is my prayer, to have all my kids graduated out of the house and on their journeys, living their best life. Me and ma'am traveling and living our best life. So, because the kids have already said they're leaving the dog. When they leave, they're leaving the dog. So there it is. Somebody said, you look fabulous. Thank you so much. I have focused. 2018 was a year. It was a tough year. I had a tough year in 2016, 17, and 18. Just trying to identify, trying to figure out what God was calling me to do and how he wanted me to serve him. 2019 was the best year of my life. In all the life that I have lived, I'm 43 years old. My birthday is in February. I'll be 44. But in all of the life that I have lived, 2019 was the best year of my life. Nothing extravagant happened except Shakema found Shakema. And I have I've made a decision in my life to focus on me. I have been somebody's mama half my life, or more than half my life. And I've always focused on my children. I've focused on my home. And when I was married, I focused on my husband. And all of those things are wonderful. But there is something about focusing on me. I hear a lot of people talk about self-care. I do very little self-care because I'd rather care for somebody else. However, 2019 with my mama getting sick and having to take care of her and just looking at not a wasted life, but she never accomplished the things that she could have accomplished. There was so much. For those of you who are new, Beauty passed away in September 8, 2019. I don't often get weepy over that. I apologize. So, please forgive. But there was so many missed opportunities for her. She just lived a very hard life and a difficult life, and she abused her body, and she did things that maybe if she had turned her life over to the Lord sooner, she could have just lived a full life. My mom should have been a teacher, and she never realized that dream. She did finish high school, but she didn't do much after that. She had me. I have no other siblings from my mom. I have siblings from my father, and I also have adopted siblings because I was adopted by my grandparents when I was very young. But she never realized anything in her life that I guarantee you she wanted to. And so in 2019, when I began to take care of her, just something in my mind just said, Shakema, you've got to take care of you. And not selfishly, I still do things with my children and for my children. They are my life, but they're not all that I do. I now can do things for me. They're even at an age where I don't always have to travel with them. Before, when they were younger, I always had to travel with them. Now my older son, he lives close enough. He can come and stay with them, and I can go off and do something on my own. I am being so freed to do things that I've never thought I could do. And I want to do those because I don't want to have any regret. When I'm at the end of my life, I want to say I did everything that I wanted to do and that God asked me to do. So, I found Shakema in 2019. It was a good year. 2020, there was no pomp and circumstance as we moved into the year. But I do have a call on my life. I do have things that God wants me to do. The women's retreat will be my first step out on faith, you guys. It is not easy to do that because you don't know who's coming. You know, there's no registration. You don't know who's coming and who's not coming. But again, I'm not here for that a part of it. I just want to share my life with the women who want to share my life, and impart, and to sow in, and to encourage and pray for and lay hands on, and just hug each other and say, hey, I'm here for you. Nobody else is here for you. Shakema is here for you. So yeah, that's that. That's that. The next question says, if you had to buy a vehicle today, how would you manage that, and how long do you plan to stay in your home? So if I had to buy a vehicle today, what I would do, and it's a challenge for me to say this because in my Dave Ramsey journey, I'm now debt free. I do not have any consumer debt with the exception of my home, which is baby step number 6. So I'm on baby step number 3, which is saving a fully funded emergency fund at 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, which for me is between $9,000 and $18,000, just to have that money sitting in an account if something were to happen. I do not have that. I'm not anywhere close to that, but I am working on it. So that is a good thing. Normally what I do in my paycheck is I go ahead and pay Taekwondo ahead, and that's $325 every month. And then I recoup that when Dad sends kids money. So if I had to buy a vehicle, I would finance it through my credit union, because I think the max payment, the lowest payment that they could do is like less than $300 a month, because I did have a car financed through them before. Some years and years ago. I don't have a new car now. I have a 2001 Toyota Camry, and it is lovely. It takes me everywhere I need to go. Praise the Lord. Paid for. The end. So I would finance through my credit union, and then as I recoup that money back from paying for Taekwondo ahead of time, I would just pay my car payment that way. However, I don't want to get, what do I want to say? I don't want to get dependent on child support, because we have had times in the past where we have not been able to depend on it. There is a child support order in place through the court system. However, I can't determine if he's going to pay or not. He has done very well. He has done very well over the past year or so. We have had a few rocky places in the past 4 years that he has been under the order. We have been separated and divorced 10 years. I didn't immediately go down for child support. It took a long time. I tried to give an opportunity to just be self-directed, and that didn't work out. So I then took action and went to the court, and the court helped me out, and I was thankful for that, helped me and the children. And so that is how I would do a car payment. But at this point, I want to save up enough. I'm still praying somebody's going to be, feel that on their heart to give me a car, and I'm going to accept it in Jesus' name. But, right now my car, I keep my maintenance up on it. I took it over to have the oil changed not long ago, and the guy was like, hey, listen, this is a 2001, but it's a pretty good shape. I have one little thing I need to get done on it. I have an oil leak, and I need to have them figure that part out, but I'm trying not to dip into that emergency fund, and I'm waiting for a few more dollars to come in through my supplement or whatever, and then I'll get that taken care of. But I keep my maintenance up on the vehicle. I've figured it out in 2019 that because I travel a lot for my job, that I could drive a company car. If there's one available, we just have to request it. And so that's saving me. I mean, if I had taken advantage of that years and years ago, it would have saved me so many miles on my car. But I know now, and I just drive a company vehicle. I fill out my paperwork where I'm going. I attach all of my documentation. I'm a safe driver, and I just go to my programs or, conferences or whatever I have to go to for work. I come back, I get my car, I turn in my keys, and I've just saved that wear and tear on my vehicle. So that was a beautiful thing that I was able to do in 2019, and it's helped me out. So I'll just keep going with that. I pray that my car lasts until I'm able to go and pay cash for another vehicle, which I'm not there yet. But like I said, I'm working on my savings. Amen. Oh, in addition to that was, how long do you plan to stay in your home? So I have been recently thinking about that. It is something that I think happens when you realize that your nest will be empty soon. And I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage home. It's a ranch style single family home. We have a large backyard, which is the reason I bought the home. I wanted my kids to have a yard to run in. They do not run in the yard. As I get older and I think about my children having their own families and not really being here, I know Shamika is looking at Colorado or Texas or Pennsylvania. She's going to go to a grad school, doctorate degree. So she's looking for other places. Trandon is thinking Florida. The little kids, we don't know yet. We still have some time. But as I get older and I'm thinking, this is how I think. Mostly my kids come home for Christmas. I don't require them to come home any other time. I don't require, but I don't ask them to come home any other time. Christmas is just kind of my holiday. I don't really need a lot of space. So I've been thinking about downsizing my space and finding maybe a townhome that doesn't have HOA or doesn't have the yard work, because I don't do yard work. Jackson can do it now, but after he moves out of the house, it's going to fall to me, or I have to hire it out. And then really, if I'm praying and asking God for travel ministry, then I'm going to do ladies ministry traveling. My house will be open. I mean, it'll be empty without me being here. So I'm thinking the real estate market where I live is really booming right now. I probably could get a good deal in my house, but my mortgage is very reasonable. I lived in a 3-bedroom apartment before we moved into the house. We've been in the house now 3 years. We're going into our 4th year. And I paid more for the 3-bedroom apartment than I paid for the 3-bedroom house. So I did live on the golf course. That wasn't purposeful. It was just I had lived in that with that community, the renting community, and that was the 3 bedrooms were on the golf course. So I was trying to get a 3-bedroom. Where I lived, they didn't have any 3 bedrooms. They only had studios, 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom apartments where I lived, and I needed 3 bedrooms. So it just happened to be on the golf course. So my rent was more than I pay now in mortgage. So I am perfectly happy to remain here where I am for right now. But I do not believe that as my children move out and get more independent, that I will always have a single family home. I am very, very seriously considering buying a townhome or something like that. Just, or were I to get married, my husband and I would decide if he wants to move here. My closet is not big enough for that. Sorry. Or if he has a home, do we want to do that? But I would kind of like to sell 2 homes and buy 1 home together, and just start our life together. So that would be what I'm thinking about as far as the house. Next question says, how long was it before you started to see results in your weight loss journey? I had started to feel really bad in 2018. In about June. School was about to be out. Still working. I was still in my classroom at the time, teaching full time. I'm in a support role now. I don't have a classroom of my own. I travel to different schools and I support my teachers. So I had started feeling really, really bad. And I kept telling my sister, I said, I feel like I'm going to pass out. And my legs were so weak and I couldn't really walk and I didn't know what was going on. And I had all these thoughts in my mind about what it could be. I started keto. And in 1 week, I felt amazing. I feel the best I have ever felt in my entire life. And so it was very quick for me. But again, I have remained on keto. I did not have keto flu. I do not take cheat days. I had one slip up when I was out in Kansas. Was I in Kansas City? I was in Kansas City. And I ate something. I was at a, what do you call it? Like a meet and greet kind of thing at the meeting I was at. And I ate a chicken wing. And I bit into the chicken wing. I had 2 or 3 of them. And it dawned on me, they fried this with batter. So once I realized that, I know I didn't eat any more of that, and I have not had any of those since. The kids are cooking their dinner, and I can hear all the things. So I told them I was going to get this video filmed, and then I'd come eat. So it was fairly quick for me. I remain on my keto journey. I have noticed more inches lost. Like I said, I've noticed more in my clothing, but I've gone back and looked at some of the videos, and I can tell in my face, I can tell in my neck, I can just tell, like I said, my clothes fit so much different than they did before. And, you know, for me, it was an immediate thing, and it is a lasting thing. Some people say, well, you can't do keto long-term or for lifelong. I'm under my doctor's care. She knows this is a lifestyle that I live. I've made so much progress. I used to be on 2 blood pressure medications. I'm just on 1 blood pressure medication right now, and it's at a very low dose. I'm trying to lose enough weight still so that I can come off of that medication. I'm not losing weight so I can look a certain way. I just want to be healthy in my body. As I age, I want to be healthy. I want to be able to enjoy my children. I don't want them to have to take care of me like I had to take care of my mom because I have abused my body. So I've just tried to make changes in my eating, in my lifestyle, going to the gym, working out, not being set. I'm pretty sedentary during the day because I'm at my desk unless I'm in a classroom. And I try to be in classrooms as much as I possibly can. But if my teachers can't host me that time, so I go to my office and do office work. But even in a classroom, I'm just walking around from, you know, student to student. But I'm now in the gym. I love to lift weights, so I'm back lifting, and all of that is good. But it was fairly quick for me how I, you know, the turnaround in my health. I didn't have those passing out things anymore. My legs were not going out from under me anymore. The weakness that I feel really good. So one question says, are you aware if the kid's dad watch your videos? So I've had this question before. I do not know if he watches my videos. I remember when we were very first divorced, I tried to keep him abreast of what the kids were doing. So I would send him a monthly newsletter of, hey, these are the activities of the kids. He calls them every day. He talks to them every day on the phone. They have their own phone. He doesn't have to call mom's cell phone. He has remarried, and I do not want to have any issues with anybody. So I got the kids their own in-house phone that he calls them on, and they do, you know, have their conversations. I do know that he knows that I post videos. We are Facebook friends, and I post a lot of my videos on my Facebook. So if he's on Facebook, he's probably seen me post something, and maybe he's clicked on it. I don't know. At first I thought, well, gosh, I don't want him to, you know, I don't want him to hear my finances, or I don't want him to be in my business. But the kids are in the videos. And so ma'am is under the bed sleeping. Bye, mom. She sleeps right at my head. So these are his kids. And I want him to be able to see them grow up. And he is not able to be in our area. He lives in Florida. And so he is not able to be here with us, with the kids, and see them grow up. And so, you know, if he watches them, he's never said, and we aren't doing anything that he can't see, and I'm not saying anything I wouldn't say to him in his face. So, I don't know. He might watch him. I don't know. Maybe. Somebody said, OMG, you have lost so much weight over the holidays. You look absolutely fabulous. Thank you. I maintained. I don't think that I've lost any additional weight, but I maintained, and I didn't gain any weight over the holidays. I was sick. Christmas was on a Wednesday. I took Jackson to the doctor on Thursday. I took him on Monday, and I took him on Thursday because Jackson was very sick. He probably should have been hospitalized over Christmas holiday, but I did my best to keep him out of the hospital because we had been in the hospital with him before at Christmas. And so doctor got him all squared away. We got him he's on a round of steroids. He has 3 more pills. His little face is so round. He was on 17 days of steroids. for his asthma. It was just really bad this time. And so after being up with him for days and days and days, my body got attacked with, I had a really bad cold. I won't say it was flu because I didn't have any aches and pains. I didn't have body aches and headaches and fever and all of that. I just didn't feel well. And my asthma was acting bad. So I was in the bed for 5 days. I know you all will not believe this, but I did not leave my bed for 5 days. I did shower, but I didn't clean. I didn't do anything. And I had videos coming out because we had pre-recorded so many videos, not knowing that I was going to be sick, but I wanted to have stuff in queue because I wanted to take my Christmas break. I had planned to clean and declutter, and I was going to do all the things. And I was sick for 5 days in bed. So, did lose, but I maintained. So I was excited about that. But thank you so much. I think what people are seeing, because it's what I'm seeing, is just being okay with myself. I have such a story that is not nice. It's not a nice story to tell about my life and the abuse and growing up in alcoholism. And I've never drank, but I grew up in an alcoholic family and being sexually abused as a child and just all the things, and in a marriage that didn't work out, and being a divorcee and a single mom and struggling with your it's not pretty. But when I have reconciled that God loves me in spite of all of that, and he wants the best for me in spite of all of that, I have been able to find Shakema, who I was meant to be, who God purposed for me to be in my whole entire life, is coming out. She came out in 2019. You see her. Before you saw Shakema, yes, but who I am supposed to be now. This is me. I think about the song from The Greatest Showman. This is me. This is who I am supposed to be. And if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. If you don't believe me that this is my life, that's perfectly fine. But I am maturing into the woman that I've prayed to be. For years and years, I've prayed, God, let me please. God, let me please. Not that I was a bad person before. I just wanted to grow up and to mature into who God created me to be. And I am doing that. And I think that's what people see. It may look a certain way, If I take off this lipstick, I look horrible. But I put the lipstick on and it looks so different. And I put on a different outfit and it looks different. But it's an inward thing that is coming out. In my opinion, that's what I'm seeing. And that's what other people are seeing. So thank you so much for your encouragement. I do appreciate that. I am doing my best. I really am doing my very best. But not for any recognition of people, but so I can be happy with me. For years and years, I did not even like my own self. And now I love me because God loves me. So it's what you're seeing is something that's taking place on the inside that's manifesting on the outside. So praise God for that. Next question say, will you be doing a meetup in the near future? Probably so. I do plan to do a couple meetups, maybe one in Raleigh, North Carolina, and one in Greensboro, and maybe one in Charlotte. So I'm going to stay in my state for right now. I do plan, though, for all of my ladies that are on the call line that have been with me for years, I'm going to do a road trip probably this summer, and I'm going to go and I'm going to meet all of my ladies that I haven't met before. Some of them I do know. I'm related to some, but some of the ladies who, like I said, have been with me for years now, and we met through YouTube, and they've come over to the call line. I'm going to make a summer road trip, and I'm going to go around and meet all of my ladies. So I was planning to do that last summer and then with beauty. So I didn't get a chance to do that, but I do plan it. But I do plan a couple meetups here in North Carolina. Okay, so one of the questions is, where did you get your cash envelope system? So I do Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University is where I found out about cash envelopes, but the specific envelopes that I have came from an Etsy shop called Mom Needs a Clone. She is also on Instagram as Mom Needs a Clone. If I can remember, I will link her Etsy shop down below. They were a gift to me. A friend of mine on Facebook, who found me through YouTube, gifted those to me, and I've had them now 3 or 4 years. I haven't bought any new ones. I haven't upgraded them. They came laminated and hole punched. I put them in my little recollections binder, and I've been using them ever since. So they are good quality. I would probably love to have some new ones, but I'm not going into the expense because the ones I have work just perfectly. So Mom Needs a Clone is the Etsy shop that I got those from. Okay, 2 more questions and we're done. Does your oldest son have the same dad as your 2 youngest children? Yes, he does. He absolutely has the same dad as the younger children. And I think because Trendon is much darker than the other kids, people might have questions about that. But when Trendon was Jackson's age and younger, if I put pictures side by side of my boys, they look exactly the same. You hardly can tell which boy is which because they look exactly the same. Trendon didn't start to darken up until he was probably in the 6th or 7th grade. And he started to get really brown. So my mom is black and her mom has Native American, Cherokee Indian. And my dad is half Puerto Rican and half black, and his mom is very dark skinned. So my father is what people in the African American community call yellow. My father used to be yellow. Alana used to be yellow, very, very light skinned. And as my dad has aged, he has actually become very darker skinned. I mean, I wish I had that picture. He was a little boy, probably Jackson's age, and he was yellow, his skin. But his dad is Puerto Rican. His mom is a very dark African American woman. All of my uncles on my father's side are dark skinned, like my grandmother. And on my mom's side, my grandfather is from the West Indies. And he was very light-skinned, or my grandmother used to call him red. He was very light-skinned with a lot of freckles. So all of my aunts have freckles, and they're all light-skinned, except my mom. My mom is the darkest of all of the girls, and my uncle is dark like my mom. So they have their coloring from their mother, and the aunts on my mom's side are light like my grandfather. So I figure somewhere in the mash trend and just got a dark gene. It just showed up. And Alana has actually gotten much darker since she was little. But that's just, you know, African Americans, we can make any color of the rainbow. But yes, he does have the same father as the younger children. Yep, he does. And he when he was younger, looked like his dad. And as it were, all of his dad's aunts are light-skinned, like his grandmother, my ex-husband's grandmother, were light-skinned. And his mother, my ex-husband's mother, is the darkest sister of all of the sisters. So they're all very light-skinned, and his mother is dark. So that's just how that old ball bounced in our court. But we love them all, light or dark. We love them all. The last question says, what do you put in your hair? I've gone natural and it is a mess. I don't put anything in my hair except leave-in conditioner. It is a, I don't even know the name. I got it at Dollar General. It is a leave-in conditioner, and because my dad is Puerto Rican, I have naturally curly hair. Now, with the gray coming in, because the gray is bothering me, but by the time my father was 40 years old, he was full-headed gray. Same for my uncles. And so I am now 43, and my gray is coming in. But I have naturally curly hair, but it is very dry. And so because I don't have a lot of time or money to get it done like I would like to, because I am not natural. I believe in chemicals, and I will get this slayed and it don't matter to me. But when it's like this, the only thing I do is I wash it every day, and then I just put a leave-in conditioner in, and I just go and I just do it. This is exactly what it looks like in the morning. And I just do that and I go. Done. If I can remember, I just got some hair products tonight because tomorrow is the ordination, and I am going to relax my own hair because I just need it to not look as coarse as I don't need it to not coarse. It looks dry. It's very dry, and it doesn't matter what I put on it, because sometimes I'll put like grease on it, or I'll spray some oil on it. It just still looks very dry. So I'm going to relax it tonight, and I'm going to lay it flat for tomorrow. I'm going to get my eyebrows done, and then I'll see how it looks. But even with a relaxer, I would just wash it and put the leave-in conditioner, and then it just naturally does the curls, because I have naturally curly hair at the root. Now, when I have longer hair, it's straight, but it's naturally curly. And Alana has naturally curly hair as well. You wet her hair and it ringlets. So, you know, I just don't have time to be doing that every day. It's too much. It's not for the people. So anyway, those were all the questions that were asked. I hope that you guys learned some stuff and I answered what you wanted me to. If for some reason you have more questions, please leave them down below. I would love to chit chat with you in the comments and do another Q&A. Who knows? Yeah, but I'm excited to be living 2020. I'm excited for what God has for me coming up in the new year. I don't know all the ins and outs of the details, but it's not for me to know. It's just for me to live out. So God has the master plan, and I'm just going to follow the master. So anyway, there it is. Thank you guys so much for stopping by our channel. If you like this video, thumb it up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the little bell so you never miss an upload from us. We'd love to keep you as a part of our YouTube community. We do appreciate you all so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.